So I'm approaching 40 pretty rapidly, and I don't know if it was like a stress relief kind of thing, but at some point I made a Pandora station that I would argue is fairly hilarious because it is not hip or cool by any stretch of the imagination, but it does maybe reflect to a time in my musical path that is not cool and not hip, and that I sometimes forget about. So I kind of had a weird delayed musical awakening, I guess you could say. I was involved in like music and choir and musical theater and stuff like that, so that kind of dominated my listening and music collections and stuff like that. So I didn't listen to a whole bunch of radio or like current music until probably college, probably like late high school and college, and listened to a lot of alternative radio and rock and stuff like that, some metal. Um, that's kind of my wheelhouse in general, alt rock. One big music station was 105.7 The Point in St. Louis, which I believe has a mix of, I mean, it used to be called modern rock. I don't know, modern rock, active rock. It's been a whole bunch of bunch of names, but that was kind of my wheelhouse. Before that, I lived in a place that was far enough outside of a major city that we didn't get a whole lot of radio stations. Like the stuff in town was like mostly pop and country and stuff from the college, but the stuff from the college wasn't necessarily consistent. It was a lot of like rotating DJs that would have whatever they wanted to listen to. So, and obviously this was a time where there was a lot less music sharing. It was just a different time and place. Like my brothers listened to way more music and had way more music than I had. I would listen to the radio, and there wasn't a whole lot of radio. Occasionally, you get a CD of something or other, but um, I wasn't ripping a whole lot of CDs. I wasn't just like downloading giant amounts of music. I wasn't going to the library and getting CDs, and I probably should have because I would have been a cheap, fun way to do that. My brother actually took advantage of when he was in high school and college. So I listened to, out of all the options, I listened to something called WTTS out of Indianapolis. That played in my mind's eye. I remember like Melissa Etheridge for some reason, Rolling Stones, and like Collective Soul. Like that was like if you smushed all those things together, that was like my my remembrance of WTTS. And as I looked into it recently, like I realized there was a bunch of it was funny to me the bands that showed up on the station after I stopped listening to it and how they just fit so well. And I think the I'm sure it has a different genre, but to me this was like adult contemporary. So before my musical awakening or whatever, when I was listening to music that I liked and like had the choice and was drawn to, um, I was listening to an adult contemporary station, and for whatever reason, like I kind of accepted it and made this like stupid like adult contemporary Pandora playlist. So Pandora, which I know is already an old man music service, you basically like pick a bunch of artists or songs or whatever, and you smush them together, and they make a radio station out of it. So at some point, I'll have to explain to my children what a radio station is, but I'm just going to tell you the six. So I picked Goo Goo Dolls, very much a late 90s, early 2000s lame person's alternative rock band. I picked Collective Soul, who I've like realized as listening to this thing that like I really like Collective Soul. My lungs are trying to kill me. I guess I just really like Collective Soul. Like Shine is the big one, but there was a later album that every time one of their singles comes on to this Pandora thing, I'm like, oh yeah, I liked that song when I was in middle school and early high school before I had taste. I did in fact listen to that. Oh, what a long way to run. You know you like a band when you didn't even realize the songs that were by the band that you liked those songs but you didn't realize they were by that band. And like I knew I liked Collective Soul, and then like more stuff shows up. It's like I like that one too. I didn't realize that was Collective Soul. That was my second one. Third one, Coldplay. Here's my dirty little secret. One of the first bands I was like ahead of the curve on when it came to like everyone liking it was Coldplay. Aren't I cool? Yeah. So like before I was listening to System of a Down and Green Day and like all these other things that came up on a more acceptable part of my musical journey, like I was really big into Coldplay and specifically like the good Coldplay. My wife would say there is no good Coldplay, but like Rush of Blood to the Head is one of my favorite albums ever, right? And I heard that before it blew up. I I heard Yellow. I knew of Parachutes. Like I don't know which album I had first, but yeah, no, Rush of Blood to Head is one of my favorite albums. So I got Coldplay on here. Yes, I still have to skip some songs from Coldplay because my Coldplay fandom is basically like Parachutes, Rush of Blood to Head is one of the greatest albums ever. X and Y is crap. And Viva La Vida is okay. And that's pretty much it. So that's my era of Coldplay. And the first sign that maybe I was an adult contemporary little bitch. Fourth band, White Stripes. I don't think I listened to White Stripes during that time where I was hearing like Goo Goo Dolls and Collective Soul, and I would like actively listen to Coldplay. Like I don't think White Stripes crossed that path at all, but like later on, I liked White Stripes. I was big into the Icky Thump album. I actually used some of that music for a play I directed in college as part of my education. So I do like White Stripes. I do like White Stripes as part of my adult musical taste. But since it was kind of contemporaneous with some of these other things, I did slide White Stripes in there. Um, Killers is kind of the same deal. Like I like Killers. I liked Killers around the time I got into college, so it's a little bit past some of the other things in here, like Goo Goo Dolls and Collective Soul, and the final most embarrassing one I'm going to say on this list. But I slid that in there because that fits, and that's apparently a adult contemporary mainstay. Of all of these bands that I have on this list, Killers might be the one that I liked the most in my like proud of it musical section of my life. It also is the one I maybe had to skip the most. Like I don't know why, but like um, when You Were Young comes up on this playlist on this radio station, and I go like, okay, I have heard this so many times, and I've like wanted to hear it so many times that I'm kind of sick of this one. So we're gonna go ahead and skip that. So Killer seems to be the one I keep skipping the most out of all of these. And the final one, it was probably earlier in putting this thing together, but is the most embarrassing, and is the one where I realized I like this band more than I should. Is Counting Crows. Yeah. Um, but no, apparently August and Everything After is like a really, really good album. And both is absolutely the thing that would be on WTTS and is also the thing I might be most embarrassed of. more and more songs kept coming on from August and everything after, and I was like, damn, this is a good song. I know this song. I listened to this song on WTTS. Yeah, Rain King. Rain King made me a middle-aged man. So yeah, that's this Pandora station. There's also a lot of Matchbox 20, a lot of Gin Blossoms. Um, I think I'm more okay with the Gin Blossoms and the Matchbox 20. There's probably some other stuff that comes on there that might just be because it knows I listen to these things outside of it, like Incubus and Muse and stuff like that, and Jimmy Eat World. I feel like that's pulling it in from other things it knows about me, but I don't know. Maybe it fits on adult contemporary as well. But what do you think? Is that just a ridiculous section of bands? Is that a lame section of bands? Should I embrace my adult contemporary roots before I found real music and was just a suburban white boy white boy listening to these things? Should I delete this video?